Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss a new interview with Jenna Ortega, who of course plays Tara in Scream 5 and in the upcoming Scream 6. Now during the interview, she reflects on her time filming the new film in Montreal. And then she also opens up more specifically about her character and what we can expect this time around in comparison to Scream 5. And I have to tell you, after reading her comments, I like what she has to say. Let's go. So Screen Rant just published an article highlighting Jenna Ortega's comments from her recent appearance on the Deadline podcast. And the headline reads, Scream 6 star Jenna Ortega teases much more developed Tara in new sequel. Now, during a recent appearance on Deadline's 20 Questions on the Deadline podcast, Ortega discusses how Scream 6 will expand upon her character, Tara Carpenter, after Scream 5 mostly saw her screaming and crying on the floor. Now, she shares how the events of Scream 6 allowed her to interact with her castmates a lot more, in a very stark contrast to the previous installment. Now, Ortega also says she found this particularly fun as it allowed her to give Tara some personality. So let's see what Tara's actual quote was. It was great for me because in the 5th installment, I only ever really shot with Ghostface, and I only was ever screaming and crying on the floor. So on the second one, I kind of had to interact with my other castmates and give her some sort of a personality that was really fun for me. So I just want to reflect for a moment on this and say I love hearing this because, I love Jenna and his performance in 5. I think she was fantastic. I've repeated it here on this channel in more videos than I can count in live streams, that Jenna was my favorite of the new core 4. The character of Tara, her acting ability and performance, I thought really shined bright. And she was my total favorite character. And that was just from the limited time that we saw her in Scream 5. So seeing this and hearing her say that in this element, she really gets to interact with her fellow castmates more. So we're going to see more dialogue between her and Mindy and Chad, I'm sure. Kirby as well. Sam, of course. It really sounds like she's going to finally get that character development that I know many of you, along with myself, really was hoping for from Scream 6. Really want to see her grow, see her arc, and get to know her better, just in general. Because what we saw of her in 5, I really liked. And I think there was a lot there to build upon moving forward. So this is very encouraging. And with character development being one of my biggest negatives toward the 5th film in general, I believe that this is a good sign. It's a good sign because if she's talking more, if she's interacting more, as she said, and showing more personality with her other cast members, well, then that tells me there's development going on. There's more discussions. There's letting us see behind the curtain a little bit into their lives, which is what I'm really hoping to see in 6. The effects of 5, how are they doing? How are they growing? So this is wonderful to hear from me, from my perspective, because it's one of the big things that's on my wish list for 6, which is more development of these characters, particularly the core 4, being Sam, Tara, Chad, and Mindy. I want to really get to know the 4 of them much better than we got to know them in 5. So this is very encouraging to that end. So yes, that's good news. Now, Jenna also briefly touched on the environment of filming in Scream 6, and I just thought it was worth including that in this video because it was great to hear. So she said, "We were shooting in Montreal and it was lovely," she says, "but it was just a lot more intense." And I just want to point out how she used the word intense. And this is not the first time that we've seen Jenna Ortega describe Scream 6 in this type of way. I mean, in previous interviews over the last few months since it was announced, I guess really since the summer when we started getting more interviews, she made comments previously about how this movie is more intense than the other Screams, that it's more, these are her words, more violent and more aggressive ghost face than she's ever seen in the franchise. She mentioned comments like, when she turns the page, it gets more gory and more gory as the story goes. And so seeing her continue to never back down from that type of characterization for Scream 6, to me says a lot. Tells me that this movie is, I believe, going to be what she says. You know, a lot of times people think, well, they're on interviews, they're just kind of, hyping up the movie or what have you. And I would say to that, sure, that does go on, of course. But what I look for in these interviews, especially when you're talking about spanning the course of several months, I look for consistency. It's one thing if you're in one interview and you just say something flippantly off the top of your head, and then maybe you never hear them say anything like that again. But what we're seeing from Jenna is consistency, that she is very much saying what she's always said since she started interviewing, which is that this movie is going to be more intense. Like she said, it was just a lot more intense. Then she's comparing that to her experience with 5. So yeah, I think the stakes are indeed going up. The intensity is going up, the aggressiveness, and even look at the images like we got recently of the ghost face image inside the grocery store, bodega, where we know Sam and Tara were at. So it's legit with the shotgun. I mean, just, there's already, you're seeing a darker, potentially more over the top type of feel to what we're seeing. And it all matches up with what Tara, or I should say Jenna, has been saying since she started talking about it. So I believe her. I think that this is not just marketing, that this actually is the real deal, and that this is what we're going to see in the movie. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'll stop there. I want to know, though, what do you think about Jenna's comments? I want to know your thoughts, ideas, and theories, and anything you have cooking right now regarding Scream 6. Let's talk about them, and we can do that simply by you leaving a comment right now in the comments section below, and we'll discuss it together. Well, that's going to be all for this update, guys, but I'll be back very soon with more Scream 6 and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, this is Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.